As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff and Booner. It is Wednesday, October 8th, day of the dock. We are here. Lots to get to. We have Lions Chiefs to preview. We have the dock later in the show to get to. The Tigers tie the series. Force at Game 5. And on top of that, you got Scooble on the mound. Life can't get much better than this. All right, I got my Crunch Time Tigers hoodie on. Look at that. Looking stylish. Hope everyone's doing good. Riley Green, first ever postseason home run. It's a great day to be a Tigers fan, and this weekend it's going to be a great day to be a Lions fan. Fired up for a good show today, Boone. How are we doing?
I'm pumped up. It's exciting. Today was good. The Tigers, that was unbelievable. I was telling you before okay.
Yeah, just cut the shit. Listen,
we did 4 minutes of the show without being live. That's probably the third time we've done that ever. Yeah. Jeff had one of the greatest intros of all time. I'll give him credit. I think if you had to rank the intros we've had at Crunch Time Sports, I would think that was a top 5 intro. And Jeff just forgot to click the live button, so we did a full almost 5 minutes with no one watching. He did the intro, and I did my intro. No one got to see it.
You know what? That was. You know what? It was a blown play. It was like Amik Robertson. It was like the Jamar Chase touchdown. That's what it was. I tried jumping the route. It was on me. That's on me.
That's just you basically essentially. That's like Aiden Hutchinson gets a sack for a safety and you're Terrion Arnold or someone and just a holding. Like, that's on me, boys. I got to be better.
Yeah. Honestly, nothing could upset me. The Tigers almost scored double-digit runs today. We should all be just singing praise from the rooftops. I mean, it was amazing. The game was great. Yeah. The Tigers took advantage. I mean, the guys came to play. The bats showed up today. Casey Mize on the mound. He played well. And honestly, I will say this too, man. To have Scooble back, I feel great. And I know they've had success against Scooble, but this one's different. You gotta listen. You gotta
want a stat?
Yeah, let me hear it.
Scooble's played the Mariners 3 times, pitched against the Mariners 3 times this year. The Detroit Tigers have lost every game.
Something's got to give.
He's due. That's all it means. He's due versus Seattle. So I think listen, I already looked too at the sportsbook. The Tigers are favored. They're already favored going into Game 5. And then you're going to the ALCS at that point. If you're 9 innings away from being that close to getting to a World Series. Like, you're right there. So I think do you remember the elimination game last week? In Cleveland, or not the elimination game, but the Cleveland game with Scooble, where Scooble just went into it, just like he had 14 strikeouts, and there was no chance that Scooble was about to lose that game. That's where I feel like we're gonna get that Scooble on Friday. I know he pitched Sunday and they lost. Okay.
Yeah, but they scored. What they score in that game? Like 2 runs? Yeah,
it was 3-2.
But they gotta help him out a little bit.
But you would I think Scooble doesn't give any runs up on Friday. I think he goes into this and he's just like, it's that dialed mentality, like live or die.
Yeah.
Kill or be killed. That's the mentality Scooble's going to have on Friday.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense. I know Caleb brought this up yesterday. They broke the streak. They haven't won at Comerica in like a month. They won today. They've actually been kind of better lately on the road. All right. So think about that too. I don't know. They've been better on the road too. We saw it in the Cleveland series. So I like where this Tiger team's at right now. I was saying when we weren't live, I checked the over under on the total runs for the Tigers. It's super low, and they blew that out the park today.
Dominated it, yeah.
They played really well, man.
They
did. Javi, shout out to Javi Baez too, dude.
I was literally, that's what I made a face a second ago. It was literally just, we can't do this without mentioning Javi.
He's been incredible. He really has been. He's been incredible. So I mean, people want to mention Javi when he's not having success. It's time to bring up when he's actually having a ton of success for the Tigers right now.
I think too, like last year, he wasn't in the playoffs for them last year. He was hurt, so he wasn't able to play. This year, he's able to play. And I know throughout the year, like he's had his up and downs. He was an all-star this year. He's had a hell of a year for you. Like he's an all-star, and then you get to the playoffs and the Guardians, he has big at-bats to essentially help you go and beat the Guardians. And then now in this series, elimination game, it's not even just like him just batting. Like in the field, he's making plays, double plays. He's up to bat. Not just one, but two massive hits. He gets I think it was a double that scored a couple runs, and then he hits the home run that essentially just ends the game. It was like the cherry on top of the whole game. Javi Baez, as of right now, I know obviously there's Scooble. Javi Baez is like your team MVP right now. Like you're out of the playoffs right now if it's not for Javi Baez. And I know Riley Green hit the home run to kind of take the lead, the single, the solo home run, but no, dude, like Javi was the reason today that you were able to really pull away and put pressure, basically essentially just shut off the whole comeback from Seattle. So he deserves Detroit. I don't think Detroit fans can, I don't think Detroit Tigers fans can ever say something bad about Javi or say that he's not worth his contract or this or that again. I think at this point, it's just what he's done for you over the last 2 weeks, and he was an all-star this year. It's all right. There's nothing you can do. He's essentially helped you win, multiple times and stay alive in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the biggest moments. He's doing it in the biggest games. He's been so consistent, incredibly consistent, which they need right now, especially the bats. They need someone like Javi who's just consistent. He's been really consistent, and it helped them today. I mean, he did a lot for them today. So credit to them, man. They deserve it. It was an awesome game. It was incredible. I mean, it was fun watching the game because we're in like the 6th, 7th inning, and I'm feeling great. I mean, yeah, you're always sitting there with like a feeling in your mind that shit could hit the fan at any moment. But it felt good watching this kind of from the 6th inning, about the 6th inning for me and beyond, to where you're like, they got this shit. Like they have this in the bag. Yeah. You didn't have to sweat it out. There
was a moment in the 9th though. Just no matter what, I'm always
at the end, for sure. But it was fun watch. It was a fun watch. It was fun watching the game, man. It was good to be a Tiger fan today. It felt really good. So it should be confident. You should be very confident at this point.
And to be honest, go ahead.
No, I was just going to read the comment. Keys of Wisdom, Tigers keeping Javi and Torque for masterclass moves with so much of the fan base wanting them gone.
Yeah. And listen, this is the one thing I'm going to preface with all this, Jeff. And a lot of people like I guess Flannel can say this with like Riley Green. Shout out Flannel. He's probably watching right now. I think there is a part of this, and it's a fan base. And whether I don't think you could say it. I think every single Tigers fan was out on Javi Baez at one point or another. I don't think there was one fan that will be like, and if you say I was never out of, you're lying. You're like dead lying. And same with Spencer Torkelson. There was a point where Torque got sent down to the minors. What was it, last year? And everyone was like, what's going on? There is not one fan out there that can be like, I always knew he was going to be fine. That's a lie, because like Javier was essentially dead at one point.
Yeah, walking strikeout. That's what he was.
Same thing with Spencer Torkelson. Like these guys were dead at one point. So I don't think that anyone can ever take a victory lap and be like, oh, you owe me an apology. You gave up on him. No, everyone gave up on him. And you know what Javi said today, Jeff? I think this needs to be a thing in all sports. Javi had a quote today, and our guy Will Birchfield, he actually put it out. I'm going to read it word for word. I think this might be one of the best things I've ever heard a player say in regards to a fan base, because typically players like this, keys to wisdom. This is the word, like keys to wisdom. This is why I know you're lying. I was never out on Javi. Always gave him credit for wanting to play when he could have been an ass and left with the money and not play. That's such a lie, because he made more money opting in. If he would have opted out or whatever it was, if he would have left, he would have got less money. What do you like? This is those Jeff. Those are the people who I know they're dead liars. Dead liars. Like you were all out on Javi. I think it's more embarrassing you to be like, I was in on him, to be honest. But Javi, this is what Javi said. Are you ready for this, Jeff? I think this is one of the greatest things an athlete could say to a fan base, because there are always players, Jeff, who get mad at fan bases for either booing or giving up on them, something like that. This is what Javi had to say today. This is Will Birchfield. He put big game Javi Baez. Quote, the boos, I don't mind that. I've heard boos all my career. I feel like that's the desire of the fans to see us have success. And you got to let the fans be fans. We won the game. That's what really matters. That's the greatest thing an athlete could say to boos. Like, we want fans to boo us if we're playing bad, essentially. Like, we want people to criticize us. We want people to be mad at us. We want people to boo us. That means they have a standard. The fans do. And we want to live up to that. And that's where with Javi, like, Keys to Wisdom trying to take a victory lap and be like, I never gave up on him. Even Javi was probably like, yeah, okay, like, you should give up on me. I sucked. Like, you should be booing me. I sucked. So I respect Javi for being able to do that and having that mindset. That's a pro's pro, man. And then being able in the playoffs to step up and do what he's done. That's like a real pro.
Yeah, dude. It's I mean, it's an extremely self-aware statement for him to say, like, very self-aware. Very self-aware. And I know athletes, like, sports create some of the best stories. And this Javi story is incredible, from where he was when he first got to Detroit to what he's doing now for them in big moments in the playoffs, on a playoff run for a team that, you know, quite frankly, shit the bed and for the last, 30 games of the season just looked completely trash. And now they're pulling it together right now. And in a must-win situation at home, look what they did today. And I don't care. I know I saw Streams Only in there being like, well, the pitcher had a 5 ERA. Guess what? It's the same thing we apply. What do we say about the Lions, man? And you brought this up. You used it on me on the watch party. We can't take away credit when they do what they're supposed to do. You have to give credit when they do what they're supposed to do. If they didn't produce 9 runs today, home run by Riley Green, Gleyber Torres too, then we would be saying something. You know what I mean? And then if they do, it's like, well, the pitcher had a 5 ERA. I don't give a shit what his ERA was. They showed up today, man. You know, I love it. It's great. They do deserve credit for that. They took advantage of a pitcher that they probably should have had success with, and they did. You know, they absolutely did. So I'm not going to.
I'm right there with you on that. I don't
can't diminish it. You can't do that. You know, you can't do that either. So,
and it's not like they just won like 3-2. Like, they went out there and dominated. Torkelson had a good day. Gleyber Torres, unbelievable. It's so funny, dude. Like, Gleyber, that man had 2 hits today. He got intentionally walked one time before he hit his home run, and I was in the office watching. Everyone was like, they walked Gleyber. And then the next at bat, it's like, you see why he just hits a bomb into right field. Dude. It's incredible. The whole team. The only people, it's like Parker Meadows is terrible. But then guys come in and you had Wencel Perez come in and do well. I'm gonna see what it did. Wencel get multiple hits when he came in. I want to see real quick. I cannot remember. I know. Yeah, he was 1. No, he was 1 for 2. So he had one. And Jemiah Jones had 1 hit as well. I mean, you had 2 guys come in for Parker Meadows, Jeff, after he was 0 for 1. And come in and get 2 hits, essentially combined 2 for 3.
Yeah, it's getting sad. I mean, it's really
he probably doesn't play it on Friday, I would guess.
Would not be surprised. I mean,
and Carpenter, I had Carpenter in a parlay today, and he goes 0 for 5.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. So shout out to the Tigers, man. It's a good time to be a Tigers fan. I'll say that. I'm fired up about Game 5 on School. With School on the mound.
Did they win it?
Yeah. I think they have the momentum. I think momentum's real. And they have a lot of momentum right now. They should. I mean, they should be favorites in my opinion. I think by the way they played today, like momentum swinging. Scooble's bet. You saw they kept panning to Scooble watching the game, dude. He just like absolutely dialed in. He's like,
you know what I hate? Did you watch the game? Right, you were watching.
Yes.
Do you know what I hate? And it goes back to the Guardians series last year. Josh Naylor. Did you see Josh Naylor today? He's the worst.
Yeah, no.
And congrats to him for just having his first kid or whatever, him and his wife. He's the worst, dude. I hate him so much.
Yeah, I know.
You see him like trying to steal signs and like doing like all and like
they kept panning.
He's the worst.
Yeah, he sucks. He's a villain. He's for sure a villain.
And he was on the Guardians last year when we played him. So
it's gonna feel good when they beat him. It's going to feel good. All right. Well, we have the injury report for the Lions this week and who practiced, who didn't practice. So let me show that. This is the practice report, full practice report. So no practice for Taron Arnold, Zach Cunningham, Taylor Decker, Kirby Joseph, Khalif Raymond, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Sione Vaki today. So I think the only one, I mean, we know for a fact that Taron Arnold and Taylor Decker, high likelihood they don't play. Zach Cunningham, probably not going to play.
So actually, there was reports today that Taylor Decker's, I think it was.
There's a chance.
Yeah, hold on. I saw right before the Tigers game. I think it got tweeted out. I want to make sure I credit the right person because I feel like that's big news. No, like Taylor Decker being.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Per Dave Burkett, Taylor Decker is reportedly trending in the right direction to play on Sunday versus the Chiefs.
Okay, that's good news. I would say Kirby's kind of in that same thing. He'll probably play. Khalif, I don't know with the neck stuff. That's a little. I
know he's going to be fine. Amon Ra said today on his show, his podcast, that Khalif's going to be good. I just don't know, like you said, if it's going to end up just being, hey, let him sit. I'm guessing Amon Ra as well. What do you think? I think that's just like a sitting out. He'll be fine.
Yeah. He's one of those guys. I think he's at a point where it's like, you know what he's going to do on Sunday. You're not. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. And then Brian Branch and Lee McNeil. Brian Branch had a limited practice with an ankle, which it's fine. And then Lee McNeil full practice. So that's the one I want to see what they do with if they want to allow him to play this week or wait another week. But he's practicing, man. Like there's no limit. He's back. Like he's practicing. It's really just green light from Dan Campbell and the coaching staff. It's just when they want him to play at this point.
I think it's going to be this week. I do, because I think the fact that last week, do you remember that press conference, Jeff, that they had last week about Aleem? And he goes, right now there's a 50-50 chance that he plays versus, the Bengals. And later in that day, he said it depends on how practice goes that day. And then later that day, practice was over, and then the reports come out. They put out the final game logs, and he was shown as out. I think this week is the week that they let him roll. If he's full practice, I would lean towards Lee McNeil plays on Sunday.
At least get him some snaps out there. Just get him some snaps for sure.
I definitely like it. Even if it's 20 snaps, just get him some reps. And you could still, I think, go Tyleek, DJ Reader, and let Aleem be that third one that's going in, maybe stealing some snaps from Roy Lopez. And then once he's fully back, then you can take out either DJ Reader or Tyleek, and you can make that rotation a rotation.
The Lions made some moves today, and this is why I brought up the Taylor Decker thing. They placed Khalil Dorsey on IR, which, we already kind of talked about that. Signed offensive lineman Dan Skipper to the active roster practice squad. Skip is up on the active roster now, and that takes the Khalil Dorsey spot. And then Arthur Maulet is on the practice squad, the nickel corner that most recently played for the Ravens. He's been a part of different teams, but he goes back to, he's been in the league for a pretty long time. He was with Dan Campbell in New Orleans, I think in 2017. So there's a history there with Arthur Maulet. Listen, I watch a little bit of Arthur Maulet. I know one thing I do like about him is, he's at nickel, can play the run. He's had seasons with a couple sacks in his career. Good blitzer. In coverage, he's not the greatest, but this is more just depth at nickel, because you got to think too, like safety depth. They probably have Maddox that can play safety. They don't have a lot of nickel depth right now because Amik's full outside while DJ Reed's out. Maddox can be a safety in case Kirby misses or Kirby gets hurt. They need him in both spots. So it's good to have. Now they got another nickel that can play nickel while Amik's transition to the outside until.
I would say this. I don't think Arthur plays this week. I don't think so.
No.
I don't even know if he ends up ever on the active roster.
He's just a body in case they need him. That's really all.
I do think. Can I ask you a question about? Did you watch the Dan Campbell press conference today? Were you able to get a little bit of that?
I did.
I thought it was interesting to think of Skip. Obviously, Skip's back on the active roster when Khalil goes on IR. They kind of Skip fills that final spot. I'm really interested that Dan today, that he was actually asked, and I feel like we actually haven't heard in the media with offensive line injuries, especially a couple of weeks ago when Taylor started going down. No one really brought up the fact to Dan, can we see Panay move to the left side? That got brought up today, and he was like, Panay will play left if he wants. Like if he wants to play left, he's playing left. If he wants to play right tackle, he's playing right tackle. I thought it was an interesting fact, or not a fact, but like a way that they go about it. They said they essentially just do it based off of whoever's backing Taylor Decker up, where they feel more comfortable. Do you think there's a chance? Like Skip has always played. The problem is they've always played left. Do you think there's ever a chance like this week that they do throw Panay at left and he just didn't say anything? Just like when it comes like schematically, doesn't want Andy Reid and those guys to see it or know that Panay's moving for the week. Do you think that there's a chance? Because he did seem pretty optimistic about it. Like, yeah, that's something we've talked about.
I think he's one of the rare players that can get away with doing that. The other player would be Tristan Wirfs. He can play left and right at a high level. Panay can do it. It's not the, and I think part of that schematics, it's like a scouting, scouting advantage, because then the Chiefs don't really know what side he's going to be on. So I think it kind of helps a little bit. I think he'll play right, because the only way I can see him playing left is if you have Skipper out there. But Skipper, like you said, play left, because there's no way in hell Giovanni Manu's ever playing right. I mean, he could barely play left. Let's be real. So,
that's my thought. It was like, is there anyone on this roster who's played right tackle?
It would be Jamarco Jones, but Jamarco's hurt, isn't he?
I don't know.
Because Jamarco Jones, let me see. I think he is hurt. Yeah, he is. He's on IR. He's the only like right tackle they have, like true right tackle. But yeah, Panay, would I be surprised? I mean, not really. I mean, he's just that type of player, I guess. You can
just wonder who they would put at right. Either like Skip and Gio right now. Neither one of them have played right tackle, at least that we've seen. I don't think. Yeah,
I think Skipper's played guard. I don't know if he's played right. I can't remember, because Panay missed a game, I think, one time. I think, and I want to say they had Skipper at right. I could be completely wrong. But I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
Should be able to see that on his.
But that's not something that he's done consistently. I mean, he's played mostly left tackle. So even if he did, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because they literally just have Skip and Giovanni Manu. That's their tackle. Their backup tackles. Justin Herron, but he's on IR as well. Jamarco Jones, IR as well. So unless they throw one of these guards out there, which I'm guessing that will not happen.
Yeah, I don't.
You got to see if Skip or Gio's good at right, but I would like, because personally, after seeing in that last kind of final possession of the game that Jared was really taking real snaps, I didn't like the fact he got blindsided like that. That my heart dropped, and it did put a little bit of you got to protect him. Like that cannot happen. And I understand like Gio had a decent, obviously not a great game. His PFF scores were low. He didn't look great.
Yeah, it was.
But he didn't really give that many like crazy hits up on Jared Goff until the end. And at the end, it was just like that. You can't let your quarterback just get blindsided.
I mean, that's how guys. I mean, you got to think, man. Like it takes one time in your quarterback. Yeah. I mean, it sucks. I mean,
at least coming from the right side, he can duck down. He can get down if he needs to avoid it. The backside is. Dude,
it's an unforgivable. It's a position that doesn't forgive very easily, because you could play left tackle and have a great game, give up one sack, and get your quarterback killed. So it's like it's a tough. That's why I believe personally, Panay's your future left tackle. There's no way a guy that talented doesn't play left tackle post Taylor Decker. There's no way. It would be malfeasance if he plays right.
Yeah,
that would be a terrible decision. So I think he is your future left. But yeah, I'm curious. I mean, it was interesting that Dan said that. I mean, I think he plays right, and you probably see Skip out there playing left. If it's not Taylor, if Taylor doesn't play, which he might play. But that's how I think they handle it.
Because didn't this come up last? I could be so wrong with this, Jeff. I thought it came up last year at some point, or maybe the year before. And when asked about it, we would have to go back and actually get the quotes and check it. I thought Dan in the past was just like, no, Panay's playing right. We're gonna he's not moving. I could be wrong with that. And then this week he's like, he can move if he wanted to. And we've considered it.
They're thinking about it. I mean,
I want you to see that last hit in the game versus Cincy. You got no choice but to think about it. I mean, right away, you're like, oh no.
Jeff says, how long is Davenport out for? 2 more weeks. I mean, he was on he was placed on our 2 weeks ago?
Give me 2 seconds. I can go look at transactions.
Marcus so that Davenport. Would probably
September 22nd. He was placed on IR.
Yeah, I would say after the bye week. He'll probably miss the next 2 games. Come back after the bye week, I would assume, if everything lines up correctly here.
1, 2, 3. They can open up his window September 21st, I believe.
Or October?
October 21st. So that's after. They should be able to open up his window during the bye week. Or yes, because on the 12th. October 12th, we played the Chiefs. The 20th, we play the Bucks. So the 20th would essentially be 4 weeks exactly. So he should be able to. Practice window can get open, I think, the 21st for him on the bye week.
I saw today too, the line moved. The Chiefs Lions the line moved a little bit. It was -1.5, which I did say yesterday or 2 days ago is one. I was like, it's 1.5. It was 1.5. It just moved to 2.5. So the Chiefs are favored by a field goal at home right now. And the Chiefs have no injuries. They're pretty healthy. I mean, I told you the tweet the Chiefs put out. It was literally just a tweet that said everybody practiced today.
Can we pull that tweet? I didn't even see this tweet.
Look at this tweet. I mean, I've never seen,
It's
especially
incredible.
this point in the season, just to tweet out and flex everybody practiced today is crazy. Like that. Usually, everyone's dealing with something. Look at this is the tweet. Like this is insane. Hold on. I saw this and everyone's like, oh, well, now they don't have an excuse. But look at everybody was a full participant in practice today. Like what the hell?
Did they even have what's on the picture there?
It's literally just a link to the injury report, and it literally has everyone practicing. It's like
that's not how good of a feeling would that be,
dude? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And obviously they're losing, so maybe you need some guys hurt to win. I don't know. Maybe if you're healthy, you're too healthy, you lose too many games because they're coming off a loss, and I don't think the game result changes because they lost, but I think you are going to play a probably more desperate team. I think they're going to give the Lions their all anyway, though. You know, it's still a big game. It's not like they lose and they're like, oh, we're going to try now because we lost. It's like, no, it was going to be a tough game even if they won.
I do keep hearing that. I keep hearing people being like, like Klotz texted this morning. Why did the Chiefs have to lose? Like, I wish they won. And I'm guessing it's because he does that because he's like, oh, wait a second. We have to play them coming off another loss, but I'm right there with you. I mean, this is Super Bowl champs. Like,
yeah,
they're giving you everything they have no matter what.
I don't care if they won 5 straight or lost 5 straight. This game means the same, man. Like, This is still the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? I can get, like, if people like Phillies, just Kansas City doesn't lose 2 in a row. Like, by the way, they don't make the schedule, unfortunately. They could lose 2 in a row. Like, they're playing the Lions. Yeah. I mean, they could, let me tell you something. They could. They definitely could lose 2 in a row. They're playing a really good Lions team at home. So
and the fact, Jeff, what is me and you? I've used this rule for years, and you started using it recently too, because it's the truest thing. How many points does the home team get, Jeff Iafrate?
Like a field goal, don't they? Like
3 to 4 points.
Yeah, 3 points.
What is who's favored right now?
Chiefs by 3. 2.5.
2.5. So if it's in Ford Field, you're probably looking at the Lions are favored by 1.5, 2.5. So if it's a neutral field, it's probably just an even game. So this isn't like, oh yeah, you're underdogs. No, like take away crowd. Lions would probably be favored in this game if it wasn't at Arrowhead.
Yeah, it's like they think of this game. It's basically just a pick 'em. I mean, that's basically what I look at it as.
Yeah.
It's even. And I think you have to give the Chiefs grace always because it's Mahomes and Andy Reid. But this Lions team, how they're constructed, like they're playing at such a high level. The Chiefs, to me, they scored a lot of points against the Jags. But here's the reality: you're playing a better defense this week than the Jags. You're playing a better defense. I know they have injuries at corner, which is something to pay attention to. The Chiefs have weapons, so that is going to be a disadvantage. But they're playing a better defense, and they're playing a much better offense than that Jags team. Like Trevor Lawrence in that game, like he had moments. He had the 2 rushing touchdowns. He had the one to win the game at the very end. But it's not like Trevor Lawrence has been a world beater. He has not blossomed into the Trevor Lawrence everyone thought he was going to be. And that offense is not like Travis Hunter. He's still learning how to play wide receiver, dude. You know what I'm saying? They got Amon-Ra, Jameson, Sam Laporta, Jameer, David. They got a better O-line than the Jags. Like, it's like pick your poison. Like Spags is the best, I think, the best DC defensive mind in the game. He's going to have his hands full, dude. Like, and this Chiefs team has shown, I will say, and the strength of their team has always been their secondary, like at least in the past. They've had really, and obviously their front 7, but their secondary has been really good. Getting exposed this year, that secondary, man.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just saying, like, this Lions team, I mean, who's checking Amon-Ra? Trent McDuffie? Like, he has had an up and down year. It's like, all right. Jameson? Like, I don't care if he's had quiet games. Like, he's still a threat. So, yeah, it's a different – I know Dan mentioned this in the press conference, too, which I love. They asked him about the win, like, 2 years ago. And he said, like, it was an important win at the time, but that was also 2 years ago. Like, look how different the Chiefs team – this Chiefs team is, but look how different the Lions team is. Like, they've had – look at where all their players – they're all better than they were at that time. You know, and they have – like, where – I think Brian – that was his first game ever, right? Brian had the pick 6. Or did he have? Was it?
It was. That was first game ever for a lot of those guys.
Like, look how much football he's seen since
Jack
then.
Campbell.
Yeah, like Jack Campbell. Look where Jack is right now. Like how he's playing. Like Aiden.
That was the Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch.
Yeah,
that was first game ever.
So they're different teams. You can't even look at that. It's like, oh, well, they didn't have Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. Well, let me tell you this. Number one, Travis Kelce is still Travis Kelce. He's maybe not he's not what he was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but he's still Travis Kelce. Chris Jones just got called out for his lack of effort. Did you see that?
Did he?
Yeah, Andy Reid called him out. Like in the last play against the Jags, not the last play, but the play that Trevor Lawrence scrambled, dude, Chris Jones gave up on the play, like straight up gave up on the play. And Chris Jones just deleted all his social media. He just deleted out everything. So I don't know if he's locking in.
There's no way that actually happened.
Yeah, he got called out for lack of effort, which is like the worst thing to be called out for. It's like you just don't give a shit. So yeah, that's Chris Jones. I don't even know what kind of year he's having. I feel like he hasn't been as dominant as he typically has been. But yeah, and I mean, yeah, he talked to Chris Jones, and Chris Jones has a sack on the year, and the only sack he has is against the Giants. So he hasn't looked like Chris Jones of the past. But you still, again, it's still Chris Jones. Like you still need the interior to step up. But this is
that kind of worries me. Not like in a bad, but worry. Like we're about to have the first week back of Chris Jones after deleting social media. That feels a little like, oh no, like one of the greatest defensive tackles that we've seen.
Yeah, it's like, oh no. It's like, why couldn't he have lack of effort this game? Like,
yeah, can we have had one more week, please?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Chris Jones. I mean, that's like,
yeah, he can have 0 sacks.
One of the greatest ever at his position. Chris Jones is incredible. That scares me. I don't like that. Not one bit. I did not know this happened. This is just out of nowhere.
Yeah, called his ass out, dude. Deleted his soul. He probably was getting DMs, like nasty DMs, bro, from Chiefs fans. Probably just shitting on him. But yeah.
Wow, he deleted all of his stuff, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, let me see. Chris Jones this year. I mean, he has a sack, but he's the.
I just watched the play too. Yeah, he definitely he had a chance probably to get Trevor Lawrence, and he just.
And I will say, like their run defense, this Chiefs run defense has not been good either. I mean, it hasn't. Like Chris Jones is almost dead last in run defense grades on PFF. So it's like, and Chris
that's
Jones
perfect for us because we run the ball very well.
Yeah, he's been really bad. He's still good. He's still a threat rushing the quarterback, obviously, but they have not been a good run defense.
Who has 1 sack on the year?
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I know you mentioned the Travis Etienne. He missed your parlay by 1 yard. He actually was running the ball decent. Like, they just didn't give him the ball a ton. Like, they didn't really give him the ball a ton, but
they kept giving it to who's his backup that they have?
I don't know.
VT, Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah, he had fumbling issues. I remember that.
Yeah, but they just kept giving it to him. I mean, that man had 1 million carries on Monday.
Yeah.
Did I tell the people too what happened? Like that was one of the most worst all time. I think that was one of I'll never lose a bet as bad as I did. I literally just needed 1 yard from is it Trevor Etienne or Trevor Etienne?
Travis, his brother Trevor's.
Travis. Get him mixed up. Travis Etienne, 1 yard to hit 2 parlays, a plus 800 to plus 600. Big payouts, good payouts. 1 yard. They get sacked or tackled at the 1 yard line. All they need to do is run the ball in. Touchdown, Travis Etienne. Trevor Lawrence gets tripped at the 1 yard line, handing the ball off and runs it in for his own touchdown. That's like the gambling gods being like, not tonight.
No, not tonight.
We're not doing it tonight. Yeah, dude, he had 12 carries. Baishal Tuin.
Oh, that's
hit 4 carries. I guess he didn't have as many as I thought. But
felt like a lot more.
Trevor Lawrence had 10 carries. Travis Etienne only had 12 carries, dude.
How many? What was his yards per carry?
12 for 49. So that was
about 4 a carry.
4.1. And he's had 19 carries, 16 carries, 14 carries, 16 carries. He's never had 12 all year.
You'll take 4.1 a carry. I mean, you'll take.
You know what's crazy? I did the math where I was like, okay, I did the 50 yards divided by 14 because that was the least he had all year. And I was like, he just needs to get 3.5 a carry. And he's gotten that every game by a mile. And he did it the other day. They just didn't give it to him.
Well, they allowed
More
4.1 a carry to, I think, a worse back and a worse O-line than what the Lions have. Lions have two backs, obviously, but better O-line right now with how their O-line's playing, especially if Taylor Decker's playing.
Yeah.
It's going to be way better. Before we have the doc on, I do want to tell you about our friends over at Comer and Cross. So allow me to do that, of course. Hold on. Let me just fix this so I can tell you about our friends over at Comer and Cross because they are taking care of their customers. That's what they do. And right now, they have a sale going on. You should be calling them 248-834-3488 because they'll take care of your crack-stained garage floor and they'll transform your patio, pool deck, basement, even your driveway, and they move the stuff out for you. So call the number 248-834-3488. That's 248-834-3488 or book your free estimate at comercross.com. They won't give up on a play like Chris Jones. They won't. They always give effort. It's Comer and Cross. Shout out to them. Tell them your friends over at Crunch Time Sports sent you. Shout out to the people over there. All right. Before we have the doc on, I do want to show off our power rankings. I know we only have a couple minutes, but we don't have to spend a ton of time on it. But at least show we have the Lions on our power rankings. And I'll go first and tell you where I have the Lions. Because I think the Lions, going into this matchup, it's very important that everyone knows most people should have them at number one. They should be the number one team in the NFL. They've proven that. And I think the NFC changed this week. The Rams lost to the 49ers. The Eagles lost to an AFC team and the Broncos. The Bills lost to the Patriots, an in-division rival. So here's how the power rankings go. All right. The Lions are at 1. The Eagles are at 2. I have the Eagles above the Bills because I think their losses, even though they're all losses.
I'm so out on the Eagles.
I will take. I know we made jokes, but you guys have been every week. It's like it's this week. It finally came. They did.
They
lose.
Keep blowing leads too. Just they can't hold a lead.
I just personally the way I decided Eagles over Bills is they have a better loss to a better team. They lost to a top 10 team. That's how I looked at it. So but they're pretty close. The Bills are 3rd. They lose to the Patriots. 4th, the Buccaneers. Baker should be in MVP conversations. I don't give a shit, dude. He should be in MVP conversations. Baker's been really good. And this is with injuries too. So Baker Mayfield, credit to him. Number 5, the Jags. They earn. I'm telling you, they earn it. They're listen. 1 loss on the year. Liam Cohen's doing an excellent job with them. They're playing great football. Number 6, the Colts. The Colts they beat up on the Raiders, but that's what I'm saying. Give them credit. They did what they're supposed to do. They blew out the Raiders. Jonathan Taylor had 3 touchdowns. I mean, they're destroying all these teams that they're supposed to beat. So I got to give them credit there. Number 7, I have the 49ers. I gave them the edge over the Rams because they beat them. But I think the Rams, man, that Kyron fumble is terrible. And the 4th down conversion they failed was terrible. So I'm giving the 49ers the credit here with Mac Jones. They're playing good football, even though that game was a little weird. It was actually a great Thursday night game, if I'm being honest. And then at number 9, I have the Packers. They haven't really moved because they haven't played. So I can't really knock them too much. They're 2-1-1. See how they respond this week. They should win this week, but we'll see. They have to earn that. And then number 10, the Broncos make an appearance for the first time on the top 10 list. They get on here with a big win over the Eagles. So Bo Nix, a little up and down, but that Broncos defense is legit, and they showed that. So this is my top 10 list. Chiefs are not on it. Obviously, the Chiefs are not on this list. And
I think it's a good list, to be honest.
So
what's crazy is the last 2 weeks we've done these lists, and I think from like 7 to 12 to 13, you could probably, pick and choose different teams, intertwine different guys or different teams based off of there's a lot of 3-2, 4-1 records. Me and you have, I think, been very in step here with the teams that we have in our top 10 because we have the exact same teams.
Yeah, you got to give the 4-1 teams the credit, and I will say this: Colts over Jags. I put the Jags here because of the
Jags deserve to be.
They
you want to throw mine
wins.
up there?
Yeah,
mine's essentially very, very close to yours, and I've been a Colts guy. But the Colts, they've won games big, but the Jags, in my opinion, the wins that the Jags have.
Yeah, 49ers with Brock, they beat the Chiefs.
The wins that the Jags team has, you have to give them credit. Obviously, I have the Lions at 1 as always, or not as always, but as most people do this week. Bills, Eagles. I just moved my teams down, Jeff. I've already had the Bills over the Eagles. They both lost this week. I just moved them down. I didn't want to, flop them, and I just kept it the same way. Bucks, I'll just keep giving them credit. I think you're spot on with the Baker Mayfield stuff, where Baker deserves so much credit with no Mike Evans. Chris Godwin just coming back, hasn't been that productive, but with Emeka Egbuka, he's been productive. No Bucky Irving. They just still find ways to win. Their defense is really good, and Baker's been incredible. The Jags, I put them at 5 as well.
Yeah, I agree with this.
I think they deserve it. I do. The Chiefs win was huge. Beating the 49ers. And listen, they're doing it as much as you want to be like, well, they're the Jags. That's where I think when you get to a point here in some seasons where you start looking at some of these teams and power ranking them, you have to get rid of like the narratives that were preseason, because at the end of the day, like, it's like the same thing in college football. They do the rankings, preseason rankings in college football, and you always have top 10 teams that end up being unranked by week 3. And it's because like no one knows what's going to happen. It's the same thing here in the NFL. Like, you have an idea, just like in college football, who the powerhouses are going to be, but there are all these middle of the pack teams where it's like, hey, who's going to step up and actually win those games and prove something? And I think the Jags, to start the season, I mean, they're 4-1, and like you said, they had a couple big wins over the 49ers, over the Chiefs, versus teams that people feel like are contenders or playoff contenders, and they keep getting the job done. So you got to give them credit. 49ers just keep winning. Kyle Shanahan just knows how to win, Jeff.
He's such a good coach.
There's nothing else to it. There's really nothing else to it. You got to give Kyle Shanahan credit, and he figures it out. He really does. And the Colts, the reason I think I would have gone 49 or Colts over 49ers. The Colts just like, and that's been my squad this year, right? I said, hey, the Colts are going to be a playoff team. I pushed that narrative this year. Klotz did it last year. I did it this year. The only big win they have is versus the number 8 team on my board here, which is the Denver Broncos. And then they've just taken care of business versus the Raiders, versus the Titans, and versus the Dolphins. So, and then obviously they lost to the Rams, but the Rams also are 3-2, right? They have 2 losses. So I just can't pull myself to putting the Rams in front of the Colts. I can't. And I still feel like the Colts should have won that game, personally. And they could be 5-0 right now. Broncos, what did you have? You had Broncos at 10, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So let me pull this up real quick. There was one reason why I had the Broncos. The reason I had the Broncos above the Rams, Jeff, is because I believe the Rams, correct me if I'm wrong, Rams lost to the Eagles, correct?
Yes.
Broncos beat them. They're the team that knocked the Eagles off and took that undefeated away from them. So the reason I put the Broncos up above the Rams and the Packers is I do feel like the Broncos do deserve like legit credit for knocking off who most people had them as the number 1 power ranked team throughout the NFL over the first 4 weeks was the Philadelphia Eagles. I think you have to give them credit for it. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to look at it and be like, okay, I know they've only played the Titans and the Bengals, and they lost to the Chargers and the Colts, but they just beat the number 1 team in football that a lot of people felt like was going into that week. And they did it in a massive comeback, and they looked good doing it. So that was the only reason I did it. I think it's just so close to where you can find your own reasoning. You can look at, well, this team won this game. Find your own reasoning. And then I just had the Packers at 10. I had them at 7 last week. They had a bye week. I think just a couple teams played up to get ahead of them.
Yeah, I will say someone in the chat just said something about the Seahawks. I just think the Seahawks, man, they don't have any big wins. I mean, I'm sorry.
Not yet.
Yeah, they just don't. I mean, and they look. I mean, Sam Darnold looks really good, but I just don't. I got to see a little more of the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Seahawks too, I think the Steelers is a good win for them. Not a great win, it's a good win. The 2 times they've played teams that are in my top 10, and I did consider the Seahawks. I actually did. They're probably 11-12 with the Chiefs. When I went and looked at matchups and who they've played and how they've played them, the 2 teams that they play that are in my top 10, the 49ers and Bucks, those are their 2 losses. So they just can't beat a top 10 team or top 10 team that I have in my top 10. So that knocks them off a little bit.
Now we have the DOC joining us, but before we do that, I have to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. So allow me to do that really quickly. Let me get this situated here. All right, Sleeper. You should be using it if you aren't already. It's the best fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. It's become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over millions and millions and millions of active users which they've had a ton of success. And you guys should already be utilizing it. If you're not already, I don't know what you're doing. They've earned some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. At Sleeper, it's not just about sports. It's about building personal connections. They also have Sleeper Picks, which is a real money product that connects friends over picks. It's very simple. You choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or across different sports. Pick more or less than the predicted stats. On Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000x payouts. Share with your friends. Get rewarded together. And right now, they have a new offer. Free $20, no deposit required, plus first-time users still also receive 100% deposit matched up to $100. You use the code CT Sports. You see it right there. Give them a shout out. They're the best at Sleeper. Now it's time to get back to the DOC because he's joining us. The publisher of Detroit Lions on Sports Illustrated, one of the best in the business, joins us every single Wednesday. Chop it up, talk some ball. Please welcome to the show, Mr. John Maakaron. John, how we doing?
Can't be better. I'm covering an NFL team that drops 40 points on average the last month. They've scored 160 or more points, 161, I believe, in the last 4 games. It's been absolutely amazing to watch this Detroit Lions team dominate offensively. It's a football team that I'm very impressed to cover, and it's another big game. Chiefs on the road, man. I'm excited, man. It's a good week.
Yeah, it is, Doc. You know, it's a good time to be a Lions fan, a Tigers fan. We'll talk to you later about the Tigers as well. But before we get to all of it, Doc, can I get your thoughts on the Terran Arnold situation? Because it seems like in that Bengals game, he re-aggravated the shoulder injury that he sustained in the prior game. He played, he re-aggravated it. It was first reported, it was Tom Pelissero, season-ending, and then their conflicting report, he'll be back within a month. Okay, 2 drastically different reports. But what'd you think of Terran Arnold's injury and how they've kind of handled it now with signing Arthur Maulet, but just on Terran Arnold and not having him for a little bit?
Yeah, it might be a day to take some shots at the national media. Dan was mad at ESPN's Adam Schefter for potentially a bogus report. The Schefter and Pelissero were looking at the early results and saying, oh, it's going to be a long-term situation. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. No, it's not going to be a long-term situation. So some interesting, maybe they wanted to be first instead of being accurate, which I understand. Look, it's a quick-paced business. There's a lot of information to be wondered about. And so a lot of the national media guys were just giving the update as it was going on. And so I was a little bit concerned. I was like, oh, man, you know, I was at first going through the same roller coaster probably as fans, wondering, man, this is going to hurt his development. You really need him to play to work out some of these issues. You got to remember, even though you mean fans out there that are calling him Terrian Okuda, he could work out some of these mistakes because this football team is so good offensively. Like, you literally have a football team that can erase his mistakes. Literally. So I wasn't as mad as everybody was about the struggles that he had. He did have them. But at the same token, being that I love, defense, you clearly see that he can improve. But look, now, we're still up in the air based on Dan Campbell. He's obviously, what's been reported by Dan, he's got some inflammation. He's got some things he's got to work through. It may not be season ending. Look, if, I'm going to root for him to succeed. And for him to succeed, he's got to be out there. The Lions invested a first-round pick in a player that they expect to be a man-to-man cover corner. And look, he's going to struggle. It's the toughest position. I've been screaming it for 3 years. I would, if when me and him have our first beer together, I'm be like, man, don't you want to play any other position besides this one? It's the position where you make 9 plays and you give up 2 bad ones, and people are going to look at you. Look at Amik Robertson. He really played pretty well against, the Bengals, but he got cooked on a bad decision that he made. And that's what everybody sees. And that's what he's got to answer to. That's why he looked pissed after the game. But I'm of the opinion that Terrian Arnold, being away hurts the team. But at the same token, you can't control it. He's out. Next man up. I'm okay with Amik Robertson, but not okay this week. I'm a little bit concerned that Patrick Mahomes is going to be looking at it like, I got to go up against Amik Robertson and Rock Ya-Sin. Let's go. But on the optimistic side, Amik playing for the Raiders knows what it's like to prepare for Patrick Mahomes. But I just think that for Terrian Arnold, it's a tough position, but one in which if he can overcome it when he comes back, all the hate, all the, real critical look at his play, if he can overcome that, I really think there's a chance for him to become special in the future. It's just, you're going to have to deal with the bumps, man. It's a tough position. The dude's 22 years old. He's not going to be, Patrick Surtain. He's not going to be Deion Sanders in year 2. That's just not the way it's going to be. And I don't even know if you're allowed to be Deion Sanders anymore in the National Football League. And I'm just thankful that the offense can clean up his mistakes.
Yeah, Doc, just sticking to injuries here. Obviously, there's still the Taylor Decker injury on the left side of the ball there on the offensive line. What do you see happening here? Because Dan actually mentioned, and we talked about it today, how Dan brought up the whole thing where potentially if they have another tackle that can play the right side, that they have thought about at some points potentially moving Panay to the left side. Do you think there's ever a chance here this season that you will ever see Panay on the left side of the ball, protecting Jared Goff's blind side? And what do you think as well for this Taylor Decker injury? Do you see him playing on Sunday versus the Chiefs?
Listen, it's interesting because Dan said that he wanted him to get added strength. And so, I do believe that 1 week off definitely did him well. He talked to Dave Burkett today, the fine reporter that you all read and get information from. And he indicated that, it's up in the air, it's really, to me, when you're 4-1, you got to read between the lines. You signed Dan Skipper. That might indicate, maybe give him the extra weeks off to get right. So I lean toward, him being out until I see some signs. But, with Taylor Decker, look, you need him, whatever the plan is, you need him ready to be there in the postseason and whatever that takes. And so I don't want to rush it. I think that, again, look at what happened. You scored 40 points with Manu. So that's a real good sign. And the more experience that he gets, I'm very curious because I don't have an opinion on would I play Skipper or Manu because, they both have some strengths. They both have some weaknesses. So it's a very interesting situation. But right now it's up in the air. It's early in the week. I'm going to get a sense of it a little bit later in the week as to what's going to happen. But I'm leaning toward no because I do think that you can be okay. I mean, the hits on Jared Goff were rough, and maybe that's why you want to go with more of veteran experience. So we'll see.
Yeah, Doc, I actually wanted to ask you, I know you already gave your opinion, but just like the narrative after the game on Sunday was, a lot of Manu. It was criticism and people also being a little more hopeful, or at least like, guys, he's still a developmental project. Where are you at? Maybe not with his play on Sunday, because you kind of stated it's hard to evaluate. I mean, he gave up 2 sacks on Jared Goff, but what's kind of your patience level, or what do you think the Lions' patient level is at that left tackle spot? Because he was brought here to be a developmental player. Do you think he's done enough yet to kind of earn that spot, or at least earn the patience? Or do you think they should be trying to look to replace Taylor Decker after the season? Where are you at with Manu and his development so far?
Yeah, no doubt about it. But let me just address one thing in the comments. I have never once put out a bogus story, never once. And I think some of your commenters need to learn really media literacy. My job is also to comment and report what people in my own field do. Okay, so, and also if you look at the Ragnow situation in regards to calling it bogus, let's use some common sense here, people. And I know it's higher level. You might not be smart enough to think it, but if I'm making $9 million a year, and the second I sign it, somebody else makes 25, and you tell me he's happy, something's wrong with you. Of course he would want more money. Of course he'd want to be, if you're him, you want to be paid at that level. So whether he's going to say it publicly or not, you also got to remember Dan Campbell got caught in a little wiggle earlier this week when someone found out that Manu was told on Tuesday that he was starting. So I want you guys to realize, okay, which is a fun job, which is why I love it. Coaches will look at you right in the face and lie to you. Okay, so please don't tell me that I came with bogus reports. Never in a million years. Now, will I report things that somebody else says that ended up being false? Yeah, I wrote the story that Adam Schefter said, but my job is to say that Adam Schefter said it. So figure it out. And the one thing that does bother me is the fact that we've become dumber as a society where people will read your stuff and they don't understand what they're reading. My job is to report on everything about the Lions. So I wrote, Adam Schefter said that the Lions sent in the file. That clears me. I have to say where I got it from. Now, was it true? No. Well, we don't know. We still don't know. Adam Schefter said it to 10 million people, and Dan Campbell called it bogus. Now, my job really should be to go find it out, but I'm busy, and I'm having a good time with my life outside of sports. So you're absolutely right. I should go research in terms of whether it's true or not. But guys, listen, I'm enjoying life at the highest degree. It's the last couple of hot days I can jump in the pool. So I'm not going to go research that. Now, Manu, I love it because he's going to get some experience. Now, that's a tough job too. At left tackle, you could have 48 good snaps, but if you give up 2 sacks to Jared Goff, he wasn't happy. So if he wasn't happy, I'm not happy. And of course, I never want to see the starting quarterback making $50 million getting hit. You know, he gave up, I think he got sacked 3 times. Twice were Manu, and once was Brock Wright whiffing on a block. But I look at it, and it's what I expect from a developmental player. He's got the framework of a left tackle, but he doesn't have the experience. He played in Canada. And, you know, I'm not of the opinion you learn on the job, but they were forced to. And the Lions were able to deal with it, thankfully. When Manu plays and Jared Goff walks off the field healthy, I'm very happy. But I'm very concerned. I don't want to see Manu in the playoffs. Not at all. My anxiety level would be quite high. Even if he plays from now till the end of the year, he doesn't have the experience. Taylor Decker is the best option. Make sure that man is playing at a high level come December. If it's Manu, you're going to be in trouble.
What about an update here, at least an opinion, because you don't have they haven't announced anything yet, but Lee McNeil was a full practice participant today. Are we just at a point right now, Doc, where we're just waiting on the confirmation from Dan? Because I haven't seen limited practice. I know last week he talked about he looks really good. What do you think, in your opinion, the likelihood that we could see Lee McNeil this week against the Chiefs?
Very low. And again, I'm having fun with Artur because he's so stupid. Artur, I'm not a journalist, bro. I call myself a podcaster. So you go do journalism. You go figure it out. You go come in and answer it for me. I don't need to, bro. I've reached the mountaintop and I'm just riding the wave, bro. I'm not a journalist. I never said I was. The first thing you read on my site, if you can read, go read it at Detroit Podcast, and then you can figure it out. So you don't have to judge me because I'm not a journalist. I never claimed I was. I publish content related to the Detroit Lions. I like money. I like to do the job and be rewarded for the efforts that I do. And I like being the boss. And I like commenting on dumb people like you every single week. It makes the job really fun. Instead of talking to air, I get to talk to people who are stupid like you and say things that are so far wrong that it's kind of fun to clarify. But I don't even know if you're going to understand based on the fact that you don't even know. I'm not a journalist, bro. I'm not a journalist. Never took a class. I'm just a smart ass dude that had a good time doing this. And it's great. And I love the situation that I'm in. With the Lee McNeil, I look at it and I say, I know everybody's excited like a new toy. Let's get him in there. But I'm liking the way the defensive line's playing. I mean, I'm of the opinion you don't play. I mean, guys, come on. Listen, it could happen. You know, I should journalistically go and dig with his agent and be like, hey, is this guy playing? But I've texted way too many agents. I took a week off from texting the agents, and I just go with patterns. I'm a pattern recognizer, and based on the pattern, I would be shocked. Now, I could be wrong. A tour could be like, John's an idiot. He said last week he's not going to play. Based on the pattern, let the man practice, play him against the Vikings.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more interesting ones with Aleem is not really knowing whether or not he'll play this week. I lean more with you. I think the other thing too, Kirby Joseph, I don't think that's anything to worry about at this point, right, Doc? Kirby's probably a full go. They brought in another DB. You think Kirby probably just an injury they're monitoring, but nothing that will make him miss this week potentially? Kind of your confidence in that? You think they have Kirby out there?
My confidence is through the roof that he's gonna steal an interception from Amik Robertson this week. He got one from Terrion. Now he's got to steal one from Amik and Rock. He's got to get the trifecta. So I'm very happy with Kirby Joseph. Look, it's lingering. You see the brace. It's always concerning. But my God, let's just first of all, we should really credit this defense for how they're playing. It's a privilege to watch Kirby Joseph and his innate ability to just secure that football, man. It's a great thing to see. It's just, and listen, it's fun to joke with him that he gets the easiest interceptions thrown to him because all the crappy quarterbacks find a way to throw it to him. But my goodness, I remember because I was blessed as a young podcaster in my early days to sit in that room when he was drafted and to see the confidence and to hear Brad Holmes say, man, it's really great to see a guy that's a ball hawk that's going to make plays for us. So I'm really happy that it actually came to fruition, because there were so many guys that came in that were overhyped and never delivered. This guy comes in and just does the job, and just a ball hawk. It's a privilege to watch. And I have no doubts that he'll be out there. And let's get another one. It's time for him to get another pick six out there at Arrowhead, baby. I love it. I think he's listen, man, he's a game wrecker, and he should be appreciated as such.
Yeah, Doc, can you hear me?
I hear you just fine, brother.
I was down for a minute there. And I do want to ask you, you're talking about defense with Kirby and stuff, and I know you spoke a little bit about Aleem. Defensive line as a whole, this defensive line has actually been very good compared to what people thought going into the year, and especially when you kind of talk about the pass rush with the linebackers included as well. What are your thoughts on that going into this Chiefs game? Do you think they're going to be able to handle their own and contain a guy like Patrick Mahomes, especially with kind of a little beat up secondary? Do you think this D line, guys like Hutch, AQM's been incredible, Ty Leak is a young rookie, DJ Reader, I mean, I can keep going down the list, and the linebackers, Trevor Nowatzki and Derek Barnes. How do you think these guys hold up versus a guy like Patrick Mahomes on Sunday?
Yeah, it was
great.
Doc.
Do you think do you still think they messed up not getting Za'Darius? Where are you at with that? Guys, now we're 5 weeks in. Where are you at with that?
Well, listen, I have not done the comparative analysis to see. Listen, Al-Quadin Muhammad is better, but he's played more than Za'Darius. So we have to do the statistical analysis where I see if I were to project the numbers, it could be very close. But listen, in the end, Al-Quadin Muhammad is at the same level of Za'Darius Smith. And would I like him on the Lions as opposed to the Eagles? Yeah. But hey, so far so good, man. So far so good. And for the value, it may end up being a situation in which Lacey and Al-Quadin Muhammad will do the job, and Brad Holmes will showcase that he was right and we were wrong. But again, this is regular season. That answer is just still so far away to determine. But and also too, you got to also look at their roles. You know, the Eagles defensive line is doing their thing, and they got issues on offense, which is crazy that they can't spread the ball around, which is so great that the Lions, all those mouths to feed, nobody's complaining. Could you imagine if Jamo was acting like AJ Brown? Oh my goodness. Patrick, it was interesting. Just before I came on, a former Chief, I was just doing a fun chat that I've done for a friend for a long time. A former Chief was on there just talking trash about the Lions, and he was like, and he actually, he sold it well. Not believable in terms of the believability that the Chiefs can beat the Lions, but he was like, Patrick Mahomes is going to carve up that secondary. I am concerned that, you're dealing with two backups. Yeah, Amik Robertson is a level 1 starter realistically, but at the same token, that Patrick Mahomes is going to be looking for. I like this kid Thornton, man. He had a good game. He's had a good first month of the season. His film pops. Like you go, oh, that guy's serious. It's going to be competitive. I feel like it's going to be a similar game like the Jaguars. I feel like it's going to be a 37-34 kind of game, and I do feel like the Lions are going to win. I like the Lions and their ability to just it's so amazing. The way in which they run the football well. They're getting the turnovers right now. They're playing amazingly well defensively. The linebacker unit is stellar. So it's just a fun thing. It's hard. Like when you're talking about third down efficiency and some things like that and penalties and stuff like that, that's a good problem to have, man. This football team is worthy. And how great is that? How great is that Sports Illustrated, one of the iconic brands, ESPN, Yahoo, CBS Sports, who typically hates on the Lions, and all the Ringer, Bleacher Report, all these amazing companies, which I'm lucky to work for one, where I can talk to patent people on the chat here that are watching me. Instead of continuing to do more patents, you're wasting your time listening to me. That's great. But in the end, man, it's a great thing. This week, I got to write a story that did amazingly well. The Lions, and I was first, 8 a.m. Typically, I get that because I'm an early bird. I'm not doing patents. I'm just typing in power rankings. It was amazing. I woke up because I didn't know. I wake up and I can tell you about my Tuesdays. I wake up, I listen to Dan on the radio, write that all up sophisticatedly, journalistically, and then I start looking at the power rankings, and I'm like, Sports Illustrated, I look at that first because they give it to me, and I go, wow, number 1, this is good. ESPN, number 1, this is really good. I'm like, oh my goodness, 111. Now, if I want to hate, the one company that competes with me that kind of does the same job as me is the Sporting News. The Sporting News, which you should all now cancel, did not have the Lions number 1. I was like, what? And I did do some journalistic thinking. I said, O'Toole would think that I would cut this out and just have a universal number 1. And I said to myself, would that clown O'Toole like me and respect me if I took it out and just had all number 1s? And I'd be like, nah, he would. He'd be mad. So I left it in there. But Sporting News, shame on you. I used to grow up, side note, I listened to Sporting News radio when I was in college, and they used to have a nice little jingle, and they'd have 24-hour radio. So to hear the Lions be number 1 this week is amazing. We should respect it. Like, as much hate as we can give on the Lions at times, to appreciate them at this point in time has been amazing. And to see them universally at number 1, I think gives them credit until they lose next. I'm going to keep rolling with the Detroit Lions as being the winners.
Doc, what do you think the pace Aiden's on? I know he asked you, Booner asked you about the D-line, but just specifically Aiden, he's had sacks robbed away from penalties due to an error by him at one of them, but the others, Terran Arnold, Brian Branch, a safety robbed from him, forced fumble robbed from him, and he's still up there in sacks. He's favored to win Defensive Player of the Year. What have you kind of made of the impact he's made so far for this Lions team at the level he's playing at? Even getting robbed with sacks.
Who asked? Now, I have to remember too now, because there is so many questions asked. Sometimes I always go, I wonder if this was asked before. I feel like it maybe was or hasn't, but I was like, I don't care. I'm going to ask it again. So I asked Aiden today. I said, Aiden, man, you've had 3 sacks taken off the board, bro. How do you handle that? Because I'd be mad. I'd be like, Terrion, I need this money. You're taking bread off my table. I need the bread. You know what I mean? Because there's people out there that will say, I have this many sacks, 4 or 5. I should have 8. I should have a forced fumble. I should have a lot more in my stat column. But you keep taking it away, brother. My man, stop.
Yeah.
I asked him directly, and just kind of look how he looks when he's talking to somebody else. He looks at me, and the look that he gave in my mind, and maybe I'm projecting, but I felt like he was looking like, oh, man, this guy's asking me a question. Please, why? Why this question? The way he handled it was kind of funny, but also at the same time, kind of interesting. He's like, we will not talk about this anymore. It will not happen anymore. And we will project positivity. And you know what that screamed to me? He must be pissed. Like, seriously, because at the end of the day, let's just say he finishes the year with 13 sacks. That number, if you got it to 16, 17, if more happens, that could literally equate to millions of dollars in regards to real.
Doc, it could be the difference between leading the league in sacks and not leading the league in sacks.
Defensive Player of the Year, the talk, the highlights. So stats are important, and really just in the end for the hard work. Like, I record a sack, I want to have a sack. But in the end, he always answered those questions kind of lately, just kind of this laid back, approach and stuff like that. But I did get a chance to talk to him first time ever one-on-one, where I just said, hey, can I talk to you, man? He's like, sure. And I asked him, I said, hey, have you been getting chop block less based on whatever report, non-report, whatever, bogus, not bogus? Only people in the chat care the legitimacy of it. He's like, yeah, it's actually been a little bit less. He's like, the first 2 weeks was pretty bad in terms of the number. And I do think he said it on camera. He said, I think people were testing him to see how he was. It slowed down a little bit. I'm curious to see if the Chiefs try a little bit of chicanery. I'm very curious to see how the Chiefs try to limit Aiden Hutchinson. But look, man, he's a talented player. He'll overcome it. It's all fun and jokes. But I definitely wanted to see how he kind of would handle that kind of question. And he handled it in a way maybe I would handle it the same way, where I'd say, listen, stop it. I don't care. Make it not happen anymore. But if he thinks, if it happens, I'm going to give the number 3. If he gets 3 more off the board, I'm going to ask it again.
Doug, I do want to bring this up here because we are 5 games into the season now. And one thing preseason that we actually talked about before the year was that we really can't judge these coordinators until we get to about week 5 or 6 to actually get a good feel for them. What grades would you give John Morton as the OC and as well as Kelvin Shepherd as the DC through the 5 weeks here that you've seen so far?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Let me tell you this. Everybody was panicking, and I know I mentioned it in some form or fashion that I wasn't really concerned too much about the change just based on the talent, but there's a whole angle that is kind of being said, but is not being said boldly. There's a chance that the addition, and I've thought about this and I might have said it somewhere, but there's a chance the addition of John Morton and Kelvin Shepherd made the team better. And here's why. It doesn't have to be necessarily that John Morton is a better X's and O's schemer than Ben Johnson, or Kelvin Shepherd is that much more advanced. Just if you want to keep it on a simple nature, if someone's barking at you for years upon years upon years, for 3 years, and you just take them out and you have the same person and a different kind of person come in, there's a refreshing nature of that. You know what I mean? I'm hoping in 5 years when we keep talking, you get a whole new crew of people in the chat and we can yell at them about their literacy. Because if I'm still talking to Otor and T in 5 years, I'm just be like, I'm going to ignore you. But I have fun with them now. You know what I mean? Just the nature of the new voices in the room. Because listen, it seems like Kelvin Shepherd and John Morton yell at these guys a lot more. Like, from what I'm hearing on the inside, journalistically, what I'm hearing is that these guys are getting yelled at like ferociously. And that's the same, but it's a new voice. It's a new energy. And with that said, I humbly think that it's up to me to declare that the Detroit Lions are better with these two than the old two. Proof's in the pudding. Numbers are good. They're playing well. Linebackers are developing. Offensive line looks great. They fixed their problem from week 1 in 1 week. Guys, they're averaging, if my math is correct. Now, it's been a long time. I have consumed quite a bit of alcohol in the last several weeks. I'm having a good time. If my math is correct, if I added the scores from the last 4 games and divided by 4, the average is 40.23, whatever the number is. They're averaging 40 points a game. You got to credit these dudes to just really the way that these guys are reacting. It's new blood. It's fresh blood, and I'm here for the ride. A+ for both. A+ for both.
Yeah, Doc, what do you make of this kind of NFC North division now? The Packers had a bye week. They're 2-1-1. The Lions are obviously it seems like in charge of the NFC North for right now. I've already tweeted out, I think the Lions are going to win this division. I locked it up already. Me and Booner had it. He didn't like that I did that, but I locked up the NFC North already. I think it was in week 5. What do you make of this NFC North now from where we were after week 1 to now, and your confidence of the Lions can get their 3rd consecutive NFC North division title?
Yeah, I'm very happy. And it's a very fun ride. And then just quick side note. Listen, I love the chat. I actually, to be honest, I wouldn't bring you guys up if I didn't love it. I am one of you guys. You guys think people are like, that guy, whoever's messaging you is a mentally challenged individual. Listen, I'm in the chat room. I have a good time. I call into radio shows. Let me tell you this on a side note. And listen, I think you guys know that you got to be a little off to be able to cover a team 365 days a year, do 50 podcasts, and be a little off. I used to call sports radio and tape myself. That's how much I love this genre of podcasting, debating. I used to, and I actually, credit to me, if you guys know, I won one time the Stoney and Wojo What's Your Beef, where I called in and just had like a 4-minute rant, just screaming and yelling. And they gave me all you can eat wings with me and 5 friends. And if I told you we crushed 1,000 wings in 4 hours, I'm telling you, the people in Southgate still remember when Doc brought his 300-pound lineman friends and we just ate wings for 3 hours. So I don't care. I love you guys. We debate, we have fun. You call me stupid and lazy, and I call you ignorant. I love you guys. I live for this. I love it. It has no bearing. You could, like I said, hate on me. I don't care. It brings me joy to come on here and have a little fun, debate a little bit, rile people up. I sometimes go into comments and people are like, man, Jeff and Booner should kick this asshole off the air. And I'm like, maybe they should, but I don't know. We have a good time. They let me come on and just speak freely. And
never, Doc, never.
Yeah. To your point about the NFC, I love it. I love the fact the Bears are a little bit better, gaining a little confidence. So when we curb stomp them again, we can bring them back down to earth. I am disappointed that Jaden Reed got hurt. I'm a Spartan dog and we're licking our wounds. We suck again. And we're watching, the national media just love on Bryce Underwood. And hopefully they come back down to earth with a trip out west. We'll see. But I love the Lions are the kings of not only the division. I think they're right now legitimately Lions, Eagles, Buccaneers, you're right there in the class of the NFC. It may not be as good as people think. Rams up and down a little bit, but I'm really loving the Lions position, and I can't wait because I think we're getting closer where we get to have that Scott Harris talk with Brad Holmes one more time. Add to this team. I feel it. If you add to this team, and I don't care. Listen, I don't care if I'm right, wrong, if I'm crazy. I just do the trifecta. What do I want? I want an offensive lineman. I want a cornerback. I want a linebacker. I want an offensive weapon. I want the big four. Just get more. My right is to ask for more. And this football team, I think, can compete for all their goals. Dude, they're 4-1. They have a chance legitimately to be 5-1. That Bucs game might be a little tough because, Baker Mayfield's got some weird magic going on, but we seem to have their number. And will injuries impact the Lions? We shall see. But right now, guys, sit back. Truly, I've been telling my cousin Adam and telling everybody, look, I know we debate and we look at fine-tune things, but this last month has been fun because I've thoroughly enjoyed the whole ride, from traveling to Baltimore to curb stomping the Bears before, and then the Browns and the Bengals. Dude, the Lions are doing things that are not really seen too often in these parts, where they can make mistakes, they overcome it. And typically in the past, I've watched a lot of games where they would go out and play the Bengals, have a lead like that, and then the Bengals would make a run in the fourth quarter and the Lions would lose. Instead, the Lions had a drive. They just marched down the field. Boom, let's hit Amon-Ra. Boom, let's move down the field. Touchdown, see you later. Good night. Here's one to Tesla. See you later, alligator. And we move on. This is a fun ride, and I'm enjoying literally every minute of it. I think back to back to back division champs 3 times, baby.
Go ahead, Boone.
Oh, hey, it's my turn for a question.
Drop the mic. Silence.
I thought, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Doc, I just want to ask you your confidence level for Sunday with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored, 2.5-point favorites, and it is on the road. Obviously, the Chiefs coming off a loss. How are you feeling about Sunday?
Yeah, man, that's the thing, man, because, us podcasters, we can get way overconfident. My mind just tells you, take the points. It's free money. I think that.
Well, Doc, I think Lucas brought up today he hates that the Chiefs lost. Does do you have that same mentality, or where are you at with that?
Yeah. I understand there's going to be more of a desperation. Look, talent for talent. They both played their best. The Lions win. Now, do we get some of the chicanery and a lot of holding calls against Amik and Rock? Do we get a lot of this bogus, what we tend to see for the Chiefs, and the calls not go their way? I can see weirdness happening Sunday night. Officials suck, and they always tend to suck, and those kind of things. But talent for talent, you've beaten them before. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the same caliber of weapons. I do think Kelsey will play a factor. I'm curious, Pacheco and their offensive weapons. How many carries does Hunt and Pacheco get? But the Lions have shown they can stop the run. So to me, until I see warts that would indicate they're going to lose, dude, Jared Goff is on the verge. Again, you can fact check me here, but I believe, because the Lions send out so many PR nuggets, that if he gets 70% completion percentage on the road again, it's an NFL record. Like, come on, dude. 70, like his numbers are just ridiculously amazing. His accuracy is great. Dude, literally, Jahmyr Gibbs can take this game over whenever he feels like it. So to me, I don't care. Listen, the words expressed by the DOC are just for entertainment purposes. Take all of your money and put it on the Detroit Lions +2 from the DOC. And Arturo can take his $5 in his bank account and try to get it to 10, baby.
Well, Doc, what are some players you're maybe looking at to bounce back? I know one player, Jameson Williams, and Scotty Montgomery was complimenting him, praising him. Do you think this would be a game that JMO could get back, or who are some players on offense or defense that you think people should keep an eye on this week against the Chiefs to make a big impact?
Yeah, I humbly take credit for Jameson Williams struggling because he's on my fantasy team. And I'm 3-2 in one league and 1 and.
Hey, after you beat me in our league, Doc, I'm clawing back. I'm clawing back now.
I'm in 3 leagues. I'm undefeated in 1, which I'm very proud of and putting a lot of work in. I'm loving this league with you guys at 3-2. and I'm in another league with my nephew, and I'm getting bludgeoned because I also drafted Joe Burrow, and he's out for the year. So it doesn't really count, but I had fun with it, and I just have to suffer the abuse of all the 10 people going, and if you think the chat's mean, every week we got like 10-year-olds working with their dads texting me, you work for Sports Illustrated and you're the dumbest MFer on this league? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, guys, Joe Burrow got hurt. It doesn't count. It does not count. Joe Burrow got hurt. But I'm having a good time with it. Jameson Williams will rebound. I think this one could be the game. The connection's been a little brutal, but listen, man, there's so many mouths to feed. It's amazing to think that, because I feel like, if you ask me and I'm in J-Mo's spot, eventually my ego would get in the way. I'd be like, man, I need the ball. Like, I need the ball in a little bit different ways than you just give me an end around and you never throw to me. But here's the problem. J-Mo has earned this because he's so good. He's getting the coverages. He's getting the attention. Nobody wants to have what happened to Amik Robertson happen to them on their watch. That's a big no-no. So J-Mo's getting covered. But which I did say on the post-game recap, which you can also listen to on Detroit Lions on SI's YouTube channel, I said, the reason why Amon-Ra's open, the reason why Sam Laporta has lanes, the reason why Jahmyr Gibbs has opportunities is because J-Mo's out there. So he has value. He's not lighting up the stat sheet. I think he can, but Dan Campbell has always said it. And John Morton has always said it. There's going to be just some games where you're tasked with just being the decoy. Go out and block, be a guy. And I think truly what's amazing is you paid him his money. And I think what that kind of does for him, it kind of allows him to relax. He's got his opportunity. And he knows, like, he doesn't have to be the number one guy. He literally doesn't. He doesn't even have to be the third guy. You got Amon-Ra, Laporta, Gibbs, and Montgomery, and then J-Mo. That's how awesome this is you got a thoroughbred in Jameson Williams, and he can't get the ball. It's crazy to think about, but I'm expecting that, naturally speaking, there should be some plays dialed up for this dude to take advantage of the Chiefs secondary.
Doc, can I ask you one of the narratives, and I kind of actually love the fact now it's week 5, or we're done with week 5, and we're actually able to revisit a lot of the conversations that we've had in the preseason or off season. One of the things we talked about a lot was Jack Campbell, and I brought up this last week that it felt like he's having an all-pro caliber season right now when you look at other linebackers throughout the NFL. Do you still get that? Do you get that same feeling as I do, Doc? And do you think he's going to keep getting better and have his first all-pro season as a linebacker here in the NFL?
Man, that's tough, man. That's real tough, right? Because that's kind of a situation in which are the other league evaluators going to be looking at Jack Campbell? I think they're looking at Derek Barnes. They're looking at Jack Campbell, but I don't know if he's going to get the national love because he's not like a me first kind of talker, but he's having the productivity that you would like, right? PFF grades are steadily doing its thing. He's ranked up there as amongst the best linebackers. It's just, you're seeing the growth too. That's what's awesome is that when you guys asked me in training camp, why do you like the Lions to have 10 or 11 wins? I just said, if you get growth from Gibbs, St. Brown, J-Mo, Laporta, Campbell, if you get growth from these guys, this football team is going to be amazing. And that's what's happening. You're getting growth from everybody. It has been great to see. And then you're mixing in a Tyleik Williams and Isaac Tesla and a Tate Ratledge. It's been really, in regards to how you would dream it up, outside of maybe the Marcus Davenport injury, it's been a dream start to the season for the Detroit Lions. And maybe even that terrible week 1 performance was an eye-opener that, whoa, if we're not on point, we're going to get our ass kicked. And sometimes you need that eye-opener right away. And that might end up being the saving grace, where that terrible week 1 performance that got everybody riled up, that got Doc asking all the weird questions, and everybody nationally going, whoa, wait a minute, might have been the best thing that ever happened to this team, because they had the laser focus that, whoa, we're talented. That's not the standard. And I love hearing that. I love hearing Manu, even though he played okay, come out and say that's not the standard to give up 2 sacks. And I love it. And I love that Amon-Ra says, hey, we got a good offense. He goes on his podcast, which you should listen to every single week. And he's like, man, it wasn't good enough. We weren't good enough on 3rd down. We weren't good enough in these areas. I love to hear that, because that is what I've read in all these other coaching books that Bill Parcells preached to his, what Jimmy Johnson preached. It's right there in front of me. And being that I know it, it's just amazing to see Dan Campbell preach it. The players spit it back out to the media, and we can see it out on the field. It's literally amazing because I've read the Bill Parcells book. I've read the Bill Belichick bio. I've read what Jimmy Johnson brought in. And Dan Campbell used the word. He used the word swagger in the last couple of weeks. I was like, oh my God, Dan Campbell used the word swagger. He literally is using all the knowledge that he's learned from everybody that he's been around to give it to the Detroit Lions. And we're seeing it, man. It's a 4-1 football team. And listen, when do we get to see in consecutive games curb stomps? I love it, man. We're not just winning. We are destroying teams. Now, the only wart that you really had, which I can't wait to hear how Kelvin Shepard talks about it, that fourth quarter, you kind of took your foot off the gas a little bit, and you messed around a little bit with the Bengals, and I know for sure they got yelled at for it.
Hey, Doc, before we get to some Tigers talk here, what's your final score prediction? How do you see the game going, and who do you think ultimately wins it? What's the score you got?
Yeah, I think it's the 37-34, back and forth kind of game. Lions hold on. Let's say, so if it's 37-34, it'll be 37-27 with like 6 minutes left, and Mahomes will work some magic and dink and dunk. We'll keep seeing, Taylor Swift over and over and over and over again. And in the end, the Lions hold on. They run the football well, and they close it out. And we get to see the sad, very sad Taylor Swift, and very sad Patrick Mahomes, and very sad Andy Reid as the Lions go to 5-1. What am I? In my predictions, in the last 2 years, I am 19-3. So book it, baby. The Lions are winning.
Go ahead, Boone.
I thought, do you want to do some questions? We have a couple good questions in the chat here. There was one
we could go questions, and we'll do Tigers. So Steve asked, does this new nickel have any skills, Doc? The new nickel they signed, Arthur Maulet.
Yeah, listen, he's in the practice squad. I don't see him doing a whole heck of a lot. I don't see him jumping Trey Flowers, Whiteside. Does he have any skills? Yeah, that's what he is. He's a nickel. He's 32 years old. He's got experience. Look, he's somebody that I think they need to kind of fill in as a practice squad body, scout team kind of situation. Listen, something happens to Avonte Maddox, maybe, but I would be surprised if they call him up right away, but we'll see. Based on what we learn about him, he does. He's got veteran skills. He's had his run. And listen, most importantly, Dan Campbell knows what he's going to practice like. So it's not going to be a game-changing situation. He's got a long way to go to jump some of the guys already here. Whiteside's been here. Trey Flowers now has played. I love his size. Just the very nature of how big he is. I like what he can do. So I'm excited to see. I think that move was just like, hey, we need a body there for the practice squad, because we're going to move up and part ways with Dan Skipper moving on from the practice squad to the active roster.
Keys to Wisdom says, question, Doc, how much are you charging Crunch Time for these special superstar guest appearances?
Oh, look at you. The Keys to Wisdom is very bright and with a beautiful, beautiful photo. I do not charge, man. I give these guys the time. They've exposed me to a whole new audience. The young people are like, Doc, and that's not coming from me. My audience trends 35 to 55, and this audience is a little bit different. And I'm humbled that every week I leave here and I go, why the hell do they keep having me, letting me just talk and piss off everybody? And I'm like, they still have me. This is great. And I would never charge them ever for coming on here, man. This is one of the, I only have a couple highlights of my week. One of them is getting maybe another invite from Easy, but he's been, big time in me for others. And then the invite here is always a welcome time.
There you go. We also have Tom Izzo. He donated $2. Shout out to Tom Izzo. He says, John needs more 8-balls and pole dancers in his life.
Bro, have you not been paying attention? I went to Michigan State. I'm I graduated. I got the PhD and all that kind of stuff. I am now mellowed out. I am just riling it up, talking junk on the internet and riling easily. I mean, literally, it's gotten too easy for me. Like, I could literally post one thing now and everybody in the world will be mad at me. I'm a psychologist. I mean, it's not really fair in that I'm a human behavior expert, that this is not really the big time challenge for me. But listen, in the end, that phase of my life is over. I'm a married man with 2 daughters. So that kind of phase over. And plus, now listen.
So that was a phase of your life, though. Just want to confirm those two things.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, just wanted to,
and let's just say this.
wanted to confirm.
I grew up on 8.5 Mile in Gratiot. What do you think I learned about first on 8 Mile? I learned ballet, and I learned how beautiful the ballet is. And that's a whole other story of events and stories. And the next time we go out to the UFC, I will share it with you, Easy, and the crew. I have wasted a fortune because I've donated a lot of money to charity. You know what I mean? And it didn't go for great purposes, but I donated a lot of money to charity, and it was a great time.
You know what, Doc? Yeah, I do not deny that. I full trust in that. Nick says, Jeff, Doc doesn't think so, but I think Aleem plays based off full practice at practice.
You know, okay. I mean, it's not out of the question, but you know, you want to do that against the Chiefs. I'm of the opinion. Look, man, Tyreek's development's great. DJ Reader has been doing his thing. I mean, that's just 1 week of practice. Do you really look what happened with Mekhi Wingo? They let him play one game and then they took him out for 2 games. It's a whole different thing. But do you really get in football shape in a week? It's possible. But if he does play, it wouldn't be a full allotment. I would say, you know, no more than 15 snaps. It could happen. You know, I'm more cautious because of that injury. And I'm of the opinion you just wait. You know, Bucks, you get the bye week. I think you're fresh. So it'd be an amazing thing to see him work his tail off to get back at this week. But I think you protect him from himself and you let him get into amazing football shape, and you let him, you know, you get the Chiefs this week, and then it's Monday night and then the bye week. I think that's a perfect time to just boom, 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 rest, start against the Vikings, in the DOC's opinion.
Easy says, Mailbag, when's the last time Doc was in a fist fight?
Never. I've never, ever,
peacemaker,
ever been in a fight, ever. Because look, yeah, I don't roll like that. I've always had good times. I've always been in situations where when I got liquored up, we would be dancing on the tables. We'd be inviting everybody over. We'd be having the best time. So when it was with me at Michigan State, it was a party. It'd be singing and it would be a good time. And everybody was laughing. We tell jokes. So what would I need to fight about? In the end, you know, in my life has been really smooth sailing. I don't like, I'm, you know, here talking junk to people, but if it ever came like in person and somebody was like, hey, you said that, I'd be like, oh man, come on. I'm just talking junk and spitting nonsense out over the internet. None of it's personal. And I think once people see me, they go, oh, I'm not going to hit him. He's a nice guy. He's a family guy. He's a Jesus loving guy. He's a regular guy that just talks junk to talk junk because it's fun to do. It's locker room stuff. Like, I was born to be an athlete, like just to be somebody to talk junk to people, have a good time, go back and forth. So even Alex is not going to fight me. What would you fight me about? He's going to be like, I don't like your takes. And then I would be like, but my takes are special. And then he'd be like, what the hell is up with this guy? This guy's a buffoon. And then he'd walk off. Like nobody, listen, in the end, when this whole thing is done, I think the title of my book is going to be like, did you take me seriously? Like, come on. The first word on my Twitter page is entertainment. I'm having a good time with it. 1 minute I'll say, you all hate the Tigers. And then the next minute I'll be like, I hate the Tigers. And then the next minute it'll be like, I love the Tigers. Man, it's sports. It's bipolar. It's fun. But I don't take it to the degree in which I would hope nobody's triggered by anything that I say. We talk about sports. We get mad at each other. But hopefully at 10:01, you guys go upstairs and watch some fun stuff. You know what I mean? Don't worry about the nonsense coming out of my mouth. We talk about it till 10. At 10:01, go watch something fun.
Go ahead, Boone.
I mean, I don't know how to keep following up these Doc rants. I just want to ask you about the Tigers, Doc. How do you feel about today's game? Obviously heading into Friday, it's a win or go home game, another elimination game. Schoolball on the mound. Tigers are actually favored. They're favorites going into Friday with Schoolball. How are we feeling after today's game?
Yeah, shout out to Kenyatta. She loves it. All about the Doc. She wants more. It appears that everybody wants more of me, which is really amazing. I really respect that and appreciate that. Yes, it's crunch time with Doc on Wednesdays, which I'm hoping now in the next couple graphics, you include me maybe on the side, not in the middle. Maybe you give me a little bit of a bigger spot on the marquee. But no, it's okay. It's okay.
It's like the main event, Doc, on the UFC. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Bro, real fast diversion. man, that main event was sick. I was almost falling asleep, 12:45, and then the guy Pereira is like,
It's a quick one. Yeah,
that was awesome. I don't know what that. I thought for a second the Russian guy was gonna pop him for doing that because I would be like, hey man, I don't know what that means or what the hell you're trying to do, but that has to be the height of disrespect. But that UFC card was fun. It was got back into it the last couple months a little bit more as a little bit of a diversion. And I looked at it and I said, my goodness, man, that was a fun. And there was a lot of people at that event watching the Tigers. On Saturday, they won because the crowd was cheering quite a bit. I remember that. And there was a lot of excitement. Now, the Tigers, first and foremost, if you call me a Tigers hater, I have to remind people and reset because I know we live in an ADHD society. I picked the Tigers in 5. Just based on Skubal getting 2 starts, I have kind of a belief that pitching wins, but it was weird that game 1 went to the Tigers and they lost the Skubal start. So I have no analytical reason why. We don't know what's going to happen. This is the true theater of sports. The true theater of sports is we don't, and nobody's going to tell you. They're just prognosticating. Nobody is going to know what's going to happen with this team on Friday. We could be 0-0 in the 9th inning, or we could be 9-9. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'll be entertained to watch it. I've taken the ride like everybody else. I'm pissed the offense sucks. Like, I feel like the people that are pissed are right, and the people that are, this is a situation in which everybody's right. I get pissed because this offense is ass, and it goes cold at the worst possible time. The fans of Detroit were right to be pissed for what happened on Tuesday. You made them wait 3 hours, and all they're asking for is at least a baseball effort. Look like you treated the game like it was a May game, and all your fans were pissed. And today you gave them reasons to cheer, and they did. That's how Detroit sports fans are. We're nasty. Like, if you don't play well and the effort's not there, you will be treated as such. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to be a small part of that. In that, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I was happy that game, the first game at Comerica Park went that way. Yeah, let's go get them game 4. I was really nervous. I thought it was over. And then it was 3-0. I was like, oh man, this is terrible. But they came back. The bats woke up at the right time. It's a crazy team to watch. It's really interesting because they are as equally unlikable as they are endearing because they are so crazy. But, you know, in my opinion, I look at it like I ride the wave as a fan, but my mind just has been detached from the belief that, okay, if they beat Seattle, they're probably going to get trounced by the Blue Jays or the Yankees, you know? So that's where I think the detachment is, that people go, you know, and that's why I kind of hope they win, is that it would be the most unorthodox team to get to the World Series and win because they have such bad offensive traits. Like, they don't do the things that they preach they should do. Not a lot of sometimes play discipline, swinging at bad pitches, relievers at times that can get erratic. But then at the same token, when they heat up, Troy Melton comes in, he gets torched one night, the next night he's on fire. So it's a bipolar team that's fun to watch. I'll be watching game 5, and I hope that they win, but I would not be shocked in any way if they get their ass kicked.
Hey, Doc, what'd you think of Javi?
5.
What'd you say? Wait, no, what was that?
Tigers in 5. That was my I predicted before the series.
You did?
Tigers in 5 in print. So I'm sticking with it, baby. Let's go. If you guess me, I'm going to go Skubal dominates, and it's a game 5 for the ages. Some runs get there, 3-3 in the 6th. And who's going to be the unsung hero? Is it going to be Green again? Let's just keep going with the dream scenario. Javi Baez with the double in the 7th inning for the Tigers to win 5-3.
Well, what do you think? Actually, that's the question. Javi Baez. He's been super consistent. He's the story of Javi Baez has been one of the best stories right now, I think, in baseball, from at least Tigers fans. I mean, where he was, the criticism he got, the injury, to where he's doing now for a team that's making a postseason run. What have you kind of made of Javi? We talked about it before, but coming off today's game, especially how impactful he was. What do you make of Javi and the success he's had this postseason.
Yeah, Javi's like the doc, man. Sometimes people get down on him. They don't feel a good way. Then all of a sudden, he just rises up to the occasion and just makes people feel happy. I'm very, very happy with Javi.
Great comp.
I think that he is somebody that you should at least now cheer because of the fact that he was at the very least somebody that everybody was ready to dismiss. The whole world, but he was hurt. And I know the money has the situation to deal with it. He was way overpaid. It was a botched contract to give it to him. But look, at least for the year 2025, he at least redeemed himself a little bit. And he had a hit today, a homer. And he's an enigma because, defensively he's great, but his bat can go a little bit wayward. But man, you need it. You need it. And at some point, I think everybody that's listening, and at some point you said, you know what? I like having Javi on this team. It's like your crazy cousin that, you see him once every 6 months, but when you see him, you always smile and laugh and you feel all warm and fuzzy. But then you hear that he lost his job. He's going to ask you for money. And then you're like, come on, dude, get your stuff together. But then, 6 months from now, he'll gift you something nice and you'll hang out. You'll get those warm fuzzies and he'll tell you how much he loved you and how much he always wanted you to be boys and all that fun stuff. So it's a very unique relationship that Javi Baez has because he is somebody that really took a lot of money from the Tigers and really is getting a little, basically, we're getting a little bit of it back and we'll take it.
Hey, what do you think, Doc, going forward? Let's say just hypothetically, the Tigers win Friday. Confidence level with like this bullpen, especially in this pitching staff. It looks like right now, you're probably, if you win the series, you're probably playing Toronto. What is your confidence level on that, especially with the the pitching that you have here right now?
Yeah, man. I don't want to see the man that they're big bopper over there with the Blue Jays. Holy cow. That man is, what is it? 4 homers in 3-4 days. I'm like, Jesus.
It's insane. Yeah.
It's insane. I don't want to see that. But I'll say this. If you set it up properly, okay, you just need the best of these guys. Vest, Finnegan, Melton, they have a chance and Holton, they have a chance collectively if it gets lined up right. The one thing I'll say, because I think it was last week I was screaming, or 2 weeks ago, about analytics. I will say, on the good side of analytics, it does feel like AJ Hinch knows exactly what matchup to use, what guy when. And it's fundamentally sound. Now, I do like the feel of the game a little bit more because I don't want it to be a game where it's just, Finnegan is 0.24 against this guy and against this situation, and he's always going to do this. Because there is sometimes where numbers can be skewed, and sometimes a team can be winning 8-0, and a guy gets a couple hits, and it ends up changing the numbers. So there is context to these analytics. But foundationally, I'm very happy that I believe that AJ Hinch will put these guys in the right position to succeed, and it's up to them to go out there. And I just don't want, because now if you get past Seattle, now we're talking advanced type stuff here, and you guys got to follow. You got to pick which guy in the right high leverage situation to get the outs at the right time. I believe AJ Hinch can do that. And if you get that opportunity, you'll have a chance. So if it goes up against the Blue Jays, I would naturally at this point pick the Blue Jays in 7. But it'll be a fun series. And I think there's a chance for some more bipolarness where maybe this team, after these first 2 series, might be in line for like a 2-3-1 lead and then choke it away. Kind of has that feel of a way of a finish. But hell, let's just go along for the ride. And let's see, maybe this team in the end will be a World Series team and we'll all have our egg on our face. And, but man, it's a crazy ride to be on. And this is what playoff baseball is supposed to be about. It literally is bipolar.
Easy asked this, and I was actually curious, Doc. What confidence in just the offense carrying into Friday?
That's what I said. If you listened earlier, I said nobody knows. Nobody can tell you. I literally would not be surprised at 0-0 in the 9th inning, and I literally would not be surprised if it's 9-8 in the 9th inning. I have no clue because, and here's the thing. Seattle's pitchers can do the job, and it is something that they also get paid too to match up, and they have now their manager the last couple of days has been quite stupid baseball-wise by burning out his arms by using the same relievers like 3-4 days in a row. And the Tigers are like, thank you. We know their tendencies by now. I mean, AJ Hinch is probably like, thank you. This is great. We all know. Boom, 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 boom. And they executed. So I have no clue if the offense is going to continue. But if they're going to win, Riley Green has to be the guy that hits the baseball as opposed to the strikeout guy. Spencer Torkelson has to be Mr. Clutch instead of Mr. Dud. Parker Meadows, Clutch. Colt Keith, Clutch. McKinstry, Mr. McKinstry. But at the same token, it's on the road. I foreshadow at least the first couple innings being 0-0. Let's see what happens. So to your point, you're asking me, bold opinion, no. Tigers start off very slow, but somehow or another, it feels like they're going to win. I said 5-3, but I would not be surprised 2-1 Tigers. I would not be surprised at all. So get ready, buckle up, get your tequila, get your booze, get your stuff, get your weed, and sit back and watch because it's going to be a fun ride. Game 5 will be something to experience.
There you go. Doc, we appreciate the hell out of you. You guys can follow the Doc, of course, at Detroit Podcast on Twitter. Check out his articles, Detroit Lions on SI. And, of course, follow him on YouTube. Subscribe. He has a YouTube channel. He's pumping out content, Detroit Lions on SI. Doc, we'll talk to you next Wednesday, my friend. Keep up the great work. Good luck this weekend.
No doubt about it. Let me give you my college football predictions for the Ghetto Boy Juan. MSU's homecoming will be a sweet revelation of fun where we beat USC and Michigan goes out and loses to USC. Facts. Put it. Wow. So here's the parlay.
Do they both play USC this weekend? What was that?
UCLA homecoming. UCLA.
Oh, you definitely hit us with the double USC there. I was a little confused.
Listen. Book it.
Listening.
Here's your parlay. If you can money line all three. Lions win, Michigan loses, State wins. To the roof. Listen, O'Toole can get his $5 bank account to $25 if he follows the DOC. Book it. It's for entertainment purposes only, but that's the trifecta. State wins, the Lions win, and Michigan loses.
Oh, there you go. The DOC.
So, Booner, you can do the journalistic work and tell me what that value is. If I can get plus 380, I might just print it and do it. Let's go. Go
How
Green,
about this?
baby.
Hold on. Don't go yet. Don't leave.
All right,
don't
tell
leave.
me what it is. Put it up.
Let me load this up. Hold on.
I know what this is. I mean, the Doc parlay. I mean, the Doc lay.
Doc parlay.
Yeah, let's see this.
Sorry, I got to scroll a lot because Michigan State and UCLA is not ranked, so they're nowhere on this. I don't know where.
You can't bet.
Hold on, I'm still scrolling. What time do they play, Doc?
I don't even know. Was it Saturday? 3:30?
Don't worry, I'm still scrolling here. I'm looking for the unranked teams.
Listen, I would say just drop $5 on it. So you what? $5 to win 13.
Are they at UCLA?
No. Michigan State is a homecoming, isn't it?
Oh, so they're gonna lose their homecoming game. That's tough, man.
Oh,
hold on, I'm still looking. Don't leave, Doc. Don't leave, Doc. We're gonna get this for you.
You can't find MSU on there.
They might not have them on here. They might have taken them off.
No way. No way.
Oh, I got them. Hold on. Let me put the Lions in here now.
What's these?
What do you think it is, Doc?
Plus 460. 450.
Plus 396. USC, Michigan State, and Detroit Lions.
4-1 on your money. Take your $5. You can then get $20 back, and you can get your next McDonald's meal, baby, on the Doc. $5 on this beautiful parlay. Doc's lay of the day.
Imagine Michigan State is 8.5-point favorites losing to UCLA. That would be a fun one.
Now I'm gonna put money on Michigan State too to win the game too outright. I'm gonna go all out, baby.
There you go. The DOC gambling advice. Gamble responsibly.
For entertainment, gamble responsibly.
Love you, Doc.
There you go. The DOC joining the show, talking to the fellas there.
What a
Appreciate him
legend.
as always. He's an absolute legend, dude. Drop your mailbag questions. We got about 7 minutes left. I don't know.
Chat's been interesting.
Yeah, the chat. What's going on in the chat, guys? I mean,
Chat's been interesting.
What are we doing? Why are we going to war in the chat?
I don't know. There was a couple times I'm just sitting there reading the chat. It's my turn to ask the question. I forgot I was doing a show for a second.
I think the Doc raises the temperature.
Yeah, a lot. A lot. That's an understatement.
It's like the competitive. It's like the competitor walks in the room. Everyone gets competitive. You know, like Doc's like, you know, he comes in the room. Everyone's on. Everyone gets a little. Hey, what's the Doc going to say next? Chat
By the way, I do want
right.
to say I did place a bet because tomorrow's opening night for the Wings. I did officially place a bet for the Detroit Red Wings to make the playoffs. So we're locked in. I'm in. I'm all the way in.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. John Lord Mailbag, how do you feel about Doc saying Michigan's going to lose?
Don't care because they're gonna win. I'm not worried. I mean, this guy's a Michigan State fan out here calling out Michigan. What do you? I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's well. Yeah. I mean, I think USC's defense. It's going to be. I think they're both going to be able to score points.
Yeah,
I
it should
like
be a fun game, to be honest. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I told Flannel the other day, it's going to be, especially this USC team. It's a big game for Michigan, and the fact that if you do win this game, you essentially are setting yourself up to make the playoffs, win or lose versus Ohio State. You know what I mean? So like
sure.
this to me is basically a play-in game. It's not a play-in game because USC's not making the playoffs, but it's a play-in game for you, where if you want to make the playoffs, you got to win this game.
Etienne says, Mailbag, can people stop overrating Penn State?
Can I be honest? I don't even think it's like overrating them, because they had a squad. Like, they were supposed to be the best team in football this year.
Yeah, they're underachieving. They're
a good football team that are just not winning. Like, I think if you say overrated, when they play in every big game they lose, which they do, but losing to a UCLA team who's one of the worst teams in all of college football, who just fired their head coach a couple weeks ago, that's not even overrated. That's, like Jeff said, that's underachieving by a mile. That's just playing down. And that, to me, is just coaching. Like, that's all
it's the James Franklin problem, man. And
I think he gets fired. And it sucks because he's a really good coach.
UCLA loss is fireable on its own.
Yeah.
That's dude, their first win, and you're a 7th ranked team in the country.
The only way he keeps his job is if they beat Ohio State in a couple weeks. I think they still have Indiana or Illinois on the schedule. If they win out, they make the playoff and somehow make a run in the playoffs. That's the only way that they'll that James Franklin has a job. I don't see a world where if you're the Penn State AD, unless that you don't make a move after that. That's kind of disrespectful towards your fan base at that point.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm a big Nico guy. You know that. That was bad. What they allowed him to do. That was bad. Do you watch F1?
I haven't this year, to be honest. I have not. Verstappen, is he the favorite? My favorite driver is Lando Norris. Lando, that's my favorite driver.
Who and who? Who?
I just don't know. He raced for McLaren. I haven't paid attention this season. If I'm just being completely honest, I would hate to lie to people. This is the first year in a while that I just have not really. I've just been so busy. Typically, though, I'm locked into F1. I haven't been able to do F1 and NASCAR.
Yeah, I mean, Nick P says Lando sucks. Fuck Lando.
I mean, what is that about Nick P? He's plus 250 to win the championship. Oscar Piastri is the favorite, which I believe is his teammate.
You're speaking a foreign language to me.
Yeah, I mean it's his teammate. 336 to 314. I think Lando could have had an opportunity last year to win it, but they kept going towards giving his teammate points. Jeff, it's such a strategy thing because you have a teammate, and sometimes you have to let your teammate win. Like you have to hey, they're like, you're in first place about to win. They're like, you have to move to second place. Yeah, they're like, do it. Be a good teammate and do it.
Why? Why?
Last year it happened to Lando a couple times when Lando was fighting for a championship because, it's kind of a give or take to help your teammates win. You also, depending on the week, strategy, there's just a lot of different things to it. I remember last year, Lando had an opportunity to potentially be in the running to win the championship versus Max Verstappen. And, they were like, you have to let teammate win. And he's like, no. And he let him win. Like, he was a good teammate and did it, but he was so mad about it. It's fun to watch. It really is. There's a lot of strategy to F1.
I don't understand.
Because you have teammates. You have a teammate. It's like a
teammate. I'm your teammate and I'm winning. I'm the teammate.
Yeah, but there's team championship. There's the essentially the Constructors Cup, and then there's player championships. So there's two different types of championships in F1.
But if you win, is it still a win for your team?
Your team, but there is a solo championship. Like a driver wins the championship. That's essentially the championship you want to win is the driver. But you also have a team championship. So it just, Yeah, there's just different teammates will be on different strategies where they go in and get tires at different times. And depending on how strategies work is depending on if you're going to be the teammate that wins or not, or if you're a teammate that is in the opportunity to win a championship, typically they're going to push you and help you out. So, but for them, like right now, they're both essentially, I haven't paid attention, but from what I'm seeing here, they're both fighting each other for a championship. I mean, Lando is 24 points away from winning a championship, and it looks like there is one. Oh, there's a race in the United States this week. Must be Austin. Must be the Austin, Texas one. There's 1, 2, 3 races left. Yeah, there's 3 races left. Is it the Texas Grand Prix?
By the way, Michael, real quick, Michael says, I forgot to give my shirt. So here's the thing. Michael, if you haven't, I don't know what social media you use mainly, DM, or if you follow me on anything, DM me or DM Crunch Time, and we'll get you the shirt. I just sent out one to Common Sense. It should be there in the next week or so. So any of the winners, you have to DM us, show proof it's you, obviously, because then anyone could just say, I'm Michael Day. Send your who you are, screenshot of the YouTube, it's your profile, and then the size, and it'll get you an FTP shirt. That'll be sent over by.
Why do people hate Lando Norris? I mean, I feel like he's likable. I've always loved him. He's been my favorite driver for a couple of years. I've liked him.
Michael, you can use anything, by the way, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Facebook. Just find us. Michael, when you message us, if we don't see it, let's say by to the show tomorrow, put in here where you message us so we can go back and look and we can handle it.
Yep. We'll take care of that. I don't know Lando. I don't know the storyline.
Me either. I guess I haven't been tuned in this year. Maybe he's been a crybaby lately. Yeah, I mean, Nick P, if I would be too, if they're just letting my teammate win. That's what it sounds like's happening.
See, this is good.
That's what it sounds like's happening. Because last year, I was tuned in last year, and every time Lando Norris had a chance to go win a race last year, they were like, give it to your teammate. And Lando's like, I'm literally racing for a championship. Why am I giving this to my teammate? So yeah, I would be a crybaby about it too. I want to win a championship. You know how hard it is in F1, Jeff, to win a champion, like a player's champion or like a driver's championship? It's like it's hard. Like, think about Lewis Hamilton, dude. Lewis Hamilton, as hard as it is, like Lewis Hamilton, let me see how many he's won. Because when someone starts to dominate it, it's hard to like top that person. You know what I'm saying? Lewis Hamilton has 7 of them. 2008, 2014, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. So like when there's a dominant driver in F1 and he has like a team that's dominant, it's hard to overtake them. Max Verstappen was that dominant. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up Max Verstappen. Because when Max Verstappen started getting good and Red Bull and that team was good, he won 21, 22, 23, 24. He won 4 straight years until this year. He's not going to win. So he's won the last 4 years. So it's like it's hard to win a championship in F1. And when there's a dominant driver, it's hard to overtake him.
Listen, the F1 teammate shit, I know this. Hey, you're my teammate, Boone. We're going to win. All right?
Together.
We win. We win together. You know what? And we win.
Lando
Doc
Norris.
helped us win. He helped us win today.
Still wait for
I mean, whatever you place in F1, I'm just going to fade that. I don't know what the hell.
And also Ryan Blaney will win the championship in NASCAR. Ryan Blaney or Denny Hamlin, one of the two. Right. Lock it. They're down to the final 8. Down to the final 8.
We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We'll see you guys then. You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. Get your merchandise. I'm wearing the Crunch Time hoodie right now. You can get it at officialctsports.com. But until tomorrow, we will catch you all.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Bye.